Today, let's dive into a really powerful idea, one that might just change how you think about professional skills forever. It all kicks off with a simple question that connects two worlds you'd never think belong together, and in doing so, it reveals this kind of universal truth about how we solve problems.
I know, it sounds like the setup for a really weird joke, doesn't it? But stick with me, because the answer uncovers a pretty surprising truth about what expertise actually means. And, that truth has huge implications for how we build our careers and how we build our teams.
So our story starts in a pretty unexpected place, an IT security bootcamp. And the very first thing you learn is this basic definition. See, security isn't just about hackers and firewalls. At its heart, it's about protecting things that have value, whether that's your data, a building, or even people. Okay, so this table really breaks down the main goals of security. Every threat out there has a kind of corresponding defense. So if the threat is disruption, someone trying to take a system offline, our goal is to preserve availability. Makes sense. If the threat is modification, someone tampering with data, our goal is integrity, making sure that data stays pure. And of course, to fight unauthorized access, we enforce confidentiality. This is like the foundational triangle of information security.
So how do we actually do this? How do we put this protection into practice? Well, that's where risk management comes in. And at its core, it's not some crazy complex science. It's really just a simple three-part project. First, you figure out where you are now. That's your current state. Then you decide where you want to be. That's your desired, more secure state. And then you design all the stuff you need to do to get from point A to point B. And here's the kicker. This isn't just a security model. It's a universal pattern for making change happen.
And you know what? It gets even simpler. All security measures, and I mean all of them, whether it's for your laptop or a giant bank vault, they can be boiled down to these three simple actions. First, you try to prevent bad things from happening in the first place. If you can't do that, you have to be able to detect them when they do happen, and once you've detected something is wrong, you got to correct it or at least control the damage.
This is just a brilliant way to think about it in a way we can all get instantly. You prevent a fire by doing something obvious. Don't leave a stack of paper right next to the hot stove. Simple. You detect a fire with a smoke alarm, and you correct the problem by having that alarm automatically call the fire department. Prevent, detect, correct. It's so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Okay, so we've got our framework. It's clear, it makes sense. Now let's see what happens when we take it and drop it into a totally different environment. We're leaving that IT bootcamp behind, and we're stepping on to a real-world project at a huge utility company. We're talking physical infrastructure, big machines, and serious operational risk.
So in this project, the team did what you'd expect. They studied the existing system, and then they defined what good performance looked like. Okay, sounds familiar, right? Then they designed new protocols to prevent issues from happening. They installed a bunch of sensors to detect anomalies, and they put in systems like sprinklers to correct problems if they ever popped up. And you're probably thinking, wait a minute, that is the exact same framework we just talked about.
And this right here, this is the big aha moment. You've got an IT security framework from a classroom and an industrial risk management project in the real world, and they use the exact same underlying logic. So the really crucial point isn't about knowing the specifics of servers or turbines. It was about the fundamental architecture of thinking. An experience like that just blows open this huge question. I mean, we tend to treat fields like finance or pharma or tech as these totally separate universes that require years and years of super specialized knowledge. But what if the core challenge, managing risk, driving projects forward, is fundamentally the same everywhere? It's just dressed up in different clothes.
And look, this isn't just some philosophical idea to noodle on. It has direct, really practical implications for how companies actually go out and find talent. Just think about it for a second. When you're hiring for one of these key leadership roles, what do you really need to look for?
This basically brings us to two competing philosophies, two different schools of thought. On one side, you have philosophy A. This is the traditional approach. You must have 5+ years of experience in our specific sector, no exceptions. But then you have philosophy B, which argues that what truly matters, what really moves the needle, are the core, transferable skills of leadership and strategic thinking.
And philosophy B totally redefines the job of a leader. It suggests that their number one job isn't to be the subject matter expert with all the technical answers. No, their real value comes from leveraging the expertise of others, acting like a conductor for an orchestra of specialists, pulling it all together to create something meaningful.
So what's actually in this universal toolkit? Well, it's things like the ability to apply strategic frameworks to any situation. It's that discipline of rigorous risk thinking. It's the art of getting all your stakeholders on the same page and the skill of leading people through really complex change. These are the skills that deliver results no matter what industry you're in. And this isn't just a nice theory. This universal toolkit is exactly what allows a great leader to manage the risk of, say, a new pharmaceutical trial one year, and then turn around and lead a complex cloud migration the next. The context changes, sure, but that core architecture of thinking, it stays the same.
So we'll end with a question for you to think about. Do you think we overvalue specific industry experience, sometimes at the expense of these really powerful transferable leadership skills? When you're building a team, or even just building your own career, do you find yourself leaning more towards philosophy A or philosophy B? It's a big question, and the answer? Well, it could change everything.